Good morning, welcome to Monday Moments with Fran. I hope you are doing well today. I do a lot of motorway driving, and on my car there's this button that I can press and it's called cruise control. And so for those of you who don't drive, basically when I press this button, it allows the car to move at a particular speed that I set without me having to do anything, so putting my foot on the accelerator or anything like that. And it's really, really helpful for when you have to drive through roadworks and they have a restricted speed limit. So I'm very used to pushing that button and just sitting, allowing the car to drive. So last week I was on the M6 and I pressed what I had thought was the cruise control button. And the car was driving at the speed I wanted it to, but normally when I press cruise control it allows you to accelerate so you can go faster, and then when you lift off the pedal, the foot pedal, the car will go back to the speed that you've set. But this time, as I'm going to hit the accelerator, the car is not speeding up. And the M6 is a really busy motorway. I think we were just coming out of a restricted speed zone, so we could head back up to 70, but my car was not going any faster. And literally it felt like there was this invisible force stopping my car and almost pulling it back, because as you anticipate it moving, of course it's holding me back. And I had a slight moment of panic, like, okay, this is not a great place, thinking, is the car gonna break down on me? What is happening? So I thought, Fran, obviously perhaps you've done something wrong. So I pressed a few buttons and it switched off and I could drive as normal. So I was really confused. And when it got to a very quiet part of the road, I kind of had a look down at my screen, not the screen, the dash where all the information is in the car. And I saw that actually what I had done by accident was pressed the speed limit button. Now, between you and me, I didn't even know the car had that. But there's a function that allows your car to be restricted at a particular speed limit. And in that moment, it just made me reflect on how true that can be of our lives at sometimes, that we can have an invisible speed limit that no one else can see, people don't fully understand, but there is something restricting you from going forward. And you could also describe it as a glass ceiling, where you can only ever get so far in life, and then there's a barrier. And this is the encouragement for this week. It is a great thing to reflect on, are there some glass ceilings in my life, in my family? Are there areas where I can always seem to get some movement, but only so far? Do I always get told, you'd be great at that promotion, you'd be excellent in that role, and you always go for particular things, but then there's a limit? It could sometimes be in our own mindsets as well, that we don't have the ability to really imagine and see that we can achieve and succeed. I know there are some families in which people will say, well, in this family, this never happens. Or in this family, we don't ever get that opportunity. It could be in relation to education. There are some families where no one ever goes to university. And I think if there's a desire to, and that nobody is, well, then that's like a glass ceiling, isn't it? And they can come about in our lives for many different reasons. It could be something very practical, such as you haven't yet developed that skill or the understanding, the education to break forward in that new area. It could be an internal thing where your mindset really just doesn't allow you to see or move. But it could be something external, different factors. It could be a spiritual issue. There could have been people who said and done things to declare that in this family no one will ever do X, Y, and Z. But the encouragement is there is so much power in the words that you speak. There's so much power in you understanding that, you've been given this gift of life, that you have, by God's grace, the ability to actually make changes and to move forward in your life. So guys, if you feel like there is a glass ceiling, you have to know that it's made of glass. you have to know that it can be broken, it can be smashed, it can be shattered. And then you then have access and the ability to progress and to move forward in your life. Because what you do, you set the scene and the standard for your children, for your children's children and the next generation. So the need for you to break, or I like the word shatter, glass ceilings is very, very necessary. It's time to shatter those glass ceilings so that you can look back and think, do you know what? I am so much further than I've ever been before. And perhaps what was holding me bound or captive is no longer there. The first thing is you have to know that you have to have the belief and the understanding that they can break. And the thing with glass is that for the most part, you can't see it always very clearly. You know, sometimes I like to watch these little comedy sketches and you see people walking into, you know, what they thought was an open door, but actually was, you know, a glass partition. They didn't get hurt. But do you know what I mean? So it's not something in which is a solid looking item or piece of material. It's see-through. So, you know, you could be fooled into thinking there was nothing there. However, when you go to it, the evidence that it's there is that you can't progress. And so there are some things in our lives that are unseen, and I think sometimes we don't fully understand, but we know that we can't make progress. However, when we understand that we can make progress, when we acknowledge that actually there's something as a barrier, I'm now going to be intentional, I'm now going to be purposeful in shattering that glass, things are going to shift and things are going to change. So be encouraged. It's time to shatter those glass ceilings and see, do, accomplish, believe, think in ways that you never have done before, because this is the time for it. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Please go and encourage somebody else. You know, share an encouragement with them, smile at them, offer to pray for them. You know, just be of support to other people. They need to hear from you personally. So, like I said, have a fantastic week, and I shall see you next week. God bless you.